in round 3 of the competition. He has got one conversion as well in his career. That was against Castleford quite a few years ago now. So if I'd have asked you that question, you could have said Castle and got it. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad, I don't think, there, when you're basically
right.
picking from 10 in your head, aren't you? 9 or
Pretty
10
much,
teams in your head. Yeah, good stuff, and great career so far, because it's not over yet. Where do we think he's at in terms of that? We don't want to talk about the end necessarily, but it's a reality that everything comes to an end. But do we still think, there's players playing up to 40 in the forwards don't need to get the hand on the ball as much as James Roby needs to in his position, but still, very fit player.
Yeah, for me, he's still probably got another 2 years.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
at a top level. It'll be interesting to see how they manage the transition, because that's the one thing Saints have always done. They've very rarely had a question at hooker for the entirety of the Super League's history, have they? So,
there's 2 nailed-on positions in a way, isn't there? Loose forward at Wigan and hooker at Saints.
Yeah.
For 30 years.
Yeah. Because it's basically 2 people. Yeah. So it will be. I mean, obviously, the early signs are good with Aaron Smith, but he's still, he's not as far forward as Roby was in his development at the same stage, I would say. So
probably not quite, no, but I like what I see from him. I really do like what I see from him. He's not scared to.
No.
He's not scared to step up. He'll take opponents on in every which way. I remember when he was on loan at Hull KR when this was 2 years ago. So he was younger and smaller than he is right now, and there was a couple of games where defensively I thought he was going to get trampled all over, and he never stopped putting himself in the way. Never stopped. And I was impressed by that. And since he's gone back to Saints, I think with the ball, he's started to see more impressive and stuff. But you're right. It's not Roby, is he?
It'd be interesting, because obviously, on at the weekend, they brought kind of Roby on, didn't they, for the last 15-20 minutes. And it's the times when Bill S. Preston is taking those decisions and kind of making the difference where you don't need to bring Roby back on. That's the sign that he's ready to step up and be the main man, I would say.
And he can only get there if he gets played more, but you kind of don't want to play him more because you still want to be winning everything, and Roby is your man that helps you win.
Oh yeah, I mean, Roby's still your first pick this year and probably next year, but it's like the year after, isn't it, that it might the crown might start to pass.
Yeah, because the last 2-3 seasons after Roby won his Man of Steel, each year after that, it felt like Roby was the man at Saints as the hooker, and Cunningham was the second fiddle. Not a bad second fiddle, but was the second fiddle. And there were some games where Cunningham could be more important, closer games, playoff games, emotional games. He could rise for, whereas Roby's so consistent that you probably wouldn't have got those 10 out of 10 performances from him, but you'd get 8 and 9 out of 10.
What a player.
Any other business? Any recommendations? Any stories to tell?
I've been writing boring for the general consumption essays for the last 3 weeks, so that's not particularly interesting. The one thing I would say, actually, I was racking my brains to think of a recommendation, and I'm going to pick something it's been a mainstay of lockdown life, so I want to recommend it, and it is salted caramel hot chocolate from Lidl. It's really nice, and it's become a nightly routine for me. So it's become the routine. So it's really good.
What type of vegan milk do you go with?
Always oat milk.
Always oat milk.
It's got it's more, I don't know what the word. It's kind of got a. It's more of a malty texture to it, so it kind of works with the hot chocolate really well. But if you can't get oat milk, then almond works okay as well.
I would not recommend beers from Lidl.
Fair enough. I've never bought one, so I can't comment. What's wrong with the beers from Lidl?
I bought some the other day.
Too German for you?
Not nice. No, they're not. They're brewed in. I actually haven't looked, but I assume they were brewed in the UK. Most of the stuff you get there is actually made and produced in the UK, isn't it?
Nowadays, yeah.
Like it's no different. The makeup of the stuff on the shelves is no different to any other supermarket anyway. But the quality of some stuff, people who are brewing for Lidl obviously aren't like peak brewers, are they? But it's cheap, isn't it? I thought I'd give it a go. It's just not for me. They weren't good. Anyway, that I didn't mean to dwell on that. Recommendation. I haven't got anything. We finished series 1 of Heroes last week.
Right, yeah.
So we've watched that, but I think I talked about that 2 weeks ago. I'm in a spell of not liking stuff more than liking stuff. Oh, I wanted to talk about the snooker.
All right, yeah.
Because in all of this we talked about how you need to be careful, you need to be sensible with what you're doing, and all of those things around the illness, the virus, and stuff like that. One thing I didn't get in the snooker was they touched elbows and then proceeded to spend 4 hours at a time rubbing their hands on the same piece of material that the other person was just rubbing his hand on. Surely, like, if there was any scenario where a quick handshake was not going to be an issue, it was that one.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, all the snooker players have been, particularly around the World Championship, have been in a very they have been in a bubble, haven't they? They've been staying in one hotel and tested regularly, and it was like that for qualifying. So actually, all the players, as far as I'm aware, have been very rigorously tested and frequently tested as well. I know they did things like separate kind of rests and stuff like that, so that they weren't sharing that equipment. I don't know about the likelihood of it.
I do get it. Anything to reduce the risks is fine. It just struck me as funny.
It is. This is the thing. The whole elbow bump is like it's become the kind of the symbol that I'm taking it seriously. Do you know what I mean? It's become the thing to do.
You can kind of notice with like the cricketers as well. Some of them will still shake hands, but some of them will just do a bump. And you sort of think the more serious guys, the people whose characteristics are they're going to bump rather than shake. There's some people you can spot that sort of thing, but it struck me as odd with the snooker. But there was some good snooker. Those 2 semi-finals, they were exciting.
This is the thing. Obviously, I saw a lot of kind of chuntering about why were crowds allowed in to an enclosed environment.
Yes.
Versus why can't you sit in an open stadium and stuff? And the truth of it is that World Snooker did a very good job in campaigning to get one of their events to be a test event.
Yeah, I think the key thing was test event.
It's a test event.
Yeah.
If at the end of the day, if there's a cluster of ticket holders who end up catching COVID from each other or whatever, then that's not safe.
Yeah.
So that was the whole idea behind it being a test, and if it works okay, if that's a success, it's much more likely that we'll get crowds into grounds.
No, exactly. So yeah, people.
It's one of those things we need to kind of support.
People are so quick to it's almost like what about me?
What about us?
Yeah, but in reality, any test that goes well is good for any other people. This was an event held in the north, so that's one thing that we need to have in our favour when we're talking about it. It was an event held in the north, in a similar sized city to what some of our events would be held in.
Yeah.
I think we need to be looking at, and saying it's positive that they were attesting if that's gone well.
Yeah, and it's the same, if things pass off well at cricket and at horse racing or motor racing, if that starts, whatever the sporting event is, if Premier League start to get people in early next year or something, or early next season, sorry, these are all examples. They're good things. They're a step in the right direction to enable us to get some people back into stadiums, which is what we all want.
If it goes wrong, and goes wrong not in Rugby League, that's positive for Rugby League, because we've got the bad headline at the moment.
Yes, unfortunately.
I don't have anything else, really. So I went carpet shopping at the weekend. Not a euphemism. That's about it.
Did you choose a carpet? Did you actually buy anything?
We did, yeah. Yeah, we did. We went to this place that appeared to have like a lot of offcuts. So it was like a bit cheaper. So that was good. Basically, the front bedroom directly above the front room, the lounge room. So the carpet size is about the same in what we require, and we've got it as like half the price as what we paid for the carpet in the front room. So
carpet roll-ins, that's the future.
So I'm pretty satisfied with that. It gets fitted in a couple of weeks, so I'll update you then. Thrilling stuff going on around here. Thrilling stuff. Next week it's me and Tim. We'll be talking about the Challenge Cup game. Maybe we'll try and find something else to fit into next week's show as well.
Yeah, it could be a bit short otherwise.
Yeah. Do you want to tell people about how they can get in touch with us and stuff like that?
Yep, so you can find out about the show. We live at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Super League Pod. If you want to send us an email or something, superleaguepod@gmail.com. You can find the episode blog posts and everything about our sponsors at superleaguepod.com. You can search for the show anywhere you find podcasts, but just in case you haven't found your preferred way, we're on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, anywhere else as well. And we're also on YouTube, but audio only.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to our partners, Rob's Toy Shop. Enter SLP discount on checkout at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay and get 5% cash back on orders over £5, plus give 1% cash back to SLP. Little Warden, vital alerts for hidden issues. Head to littlewarden.com to see what they can do. Mascot Browns, for all your international rugby league gear. They're coming up to their 3rd birthday. In some ways it feels like they've been around longer, and in some ways it's like, what?
But time doesn't mean anything anymore. Yeah. We all know that.
But check out, those guys have got some great sales on every weekend now, and it's not just international rugby league gear. They're starting to do more domestic rugby league stuff from NRL and Super League on both sides of the world. Sarah's bookcase. Sarah sells Usborne books with access to over 3,000 titles from baby to teenager. There's something for everyone. Find out more on Facebook. And if you are running any sort of events, virtual or otherwise, and you want a stall to be able to be part of that experience, then do hit up Sarah's bookcase over on Facebook or Twitter and get involved.
Very good.
That's it.
That's your lot.
That's it. What have we had today? We've had a little bit of COVID talk, a little bit of it was a surprise to me, a Mark rant. Loads of championship signings and re-signings. That's busy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's only going to continue.
And then 4 good games to chat about. 3 good games to chat about.
And you know what? And even though we weren't sure we could remember them before, actually when you talk about it, it comes back. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's good to talk. Okay. That's it for episode 275 of the Super League Pod. We thank you all for listening, and we hope to have you back with us next time for your favourite rugby league podcast, the Super League Pod.
See ya.